Welcome to part 2 of the 2022 Her Hoop Stats WNBA Mock Offseason. If you haven't heard part 1, go back and listen to part 1. It's up in your podcast feed or on YouTube. Some of the biggest names in free agency are off the board, but there's plenty of intriguing players and teams with cap space. You can skip ahead to any part of this podcast using the chapter markers in the description, or you can use the video progress bar on YouTube. And please subscribe to our newsletter, to our podcast, and to our YouTube channel. Also follow us at Her Hoop Stats across social media. And if you need links for any of this, check out the description below. Part 2 begins with a rundown of each team's cap space from the league office, and then we get into some more great players. Enjoy.
I think it might be a good time to kind of go through, give an update on the cap space situations of all 12 teams. Let's kind of roll through them. So as of now, Atlanta has 6 players rostered with $608,000 to spend. So they're not really in danger of running out of cap space anytime soon. Chicago has $348,000 in cap space with 5 available slots. They are in a position where they probably have one big contract left that they can offer, and then from there on out, it's going to be draft picks and minimum players. Connecticut is in a similar spot. They have $277,000 in cap space with 5 spots to fill, or at least 4 spots to fill. So they're in a position where they can offer no more than $95,000 to any given player. So they're kind of in a tight spot, but they do have the players that they set out to get. Dallas is Dallas and has pretty much no cap space, but I'm sure there might be some waivers incoming or something like that to open up some roster space. Indiana, $430,000 to spare with 4 players to sign. The Sparks have $157,000 with at least 2 players to sign. And then the Aces, a little bit under $500,000 with 6 players to sign. The Lynx, $432,000 with 4 to sign. The Liberty have $257,000 in cap space, but only 1 available roster spot. So another potential trade candidate there. $356,000 to spare for Phoenix. Seattle, $360,000 to spare, and Washington, a comfortable $613,000.
With all that being said, as a player agent, I don't care how much cap space you have. You better pay our players. That's cap space is your problem. All right, let's move on though. We're gonna go ahead and do Emma Meesseman, and then we'll get into some of the restricted free agents. Apologies to Washington for having it in that order. Let's talk Emma. She obviously Finals MVP. The credentials are all there. She's one of the best players in the world. She'd like to come back. She can't guarantee, right, that with everything going on in the world that it's going to work out that she can come back, but without the international obligations, she's certainly willing to try. That being said, she would like to come back to Washington. It's the only home she's ever known, the WNBA. So Mystics, what do you have on the table for Emma Meesseman?
Well, Washington definitely wants Emma back. In our rotation, we missed her a lot last year. We know she has, international commitments that are very important to her. So we are also definitely very interested in hearing what she has in mind for what she wants to do this year. We will say that we also are trying to be mindful of doing everything we can to keep Myisha Hines-Allen, who we have a restricted qualifying offer out to right now, in case, she does not accept that and gets an offer that we have to match. That said, we are willing to look at possibly, it might behoove Emma to take a 1-year contract if that's something she's interested in, just so we can make sure that she stays in DC. And then, if she has to take a little bit of a cut this year, she can go back out next year on the market. But right now we're looking anywhere. We'd like to start at $190,000 for a 1-year contract. Definitely open to Emma's thoughts if she wants more, if she wants less. in terms of the money or the years, definitely willing to have those conversations because she's our number one priority in this offseason.
Yeah, she wants a little bit more on the money side. I think years probably makes sense 1 year. She wants to explore her options here and elsewhere. But 1 year you could start at the 190 money, but she definitely would like a little bit more. If you get up a little bit more, this thing could be done. However, let's hear who else has a spot for Emma. Does anyone want to shout, give an offer? Who is in the running for Emma Meesseman?
Indiana would like to make our pitch that she can come play with her international teammate, Julie Allemond. We will make her the star of our team. She would also be joining, as currently projected, Ryan Howard to play on the wing with her, to stretch the floor with Kelsey Mitchell. She's got Tierra McCown to take the banging inside, so she gets to stretch the floor out a little, but not have to guard centers. She also fits in our timeline. If you look at our roster, all of our good players are about 26, 27 years old. She's
All
28. She fits in perfectly. We will pay her the max for as many years as she wants it.
That is, it is more tantalizing than I thought it would be coming into that pitch. Atlanta, do you want to tell me what's going on?
Yeah, that was a good pitch. I will agree with that. But, Atlanta, right, we're looking to, as you know, kind of rebuild, really kind of improve our situation. We think that you'd fit in very nicely here and could really be a centerpiece. We're more than willing to give you the max and, sort of whatever kind of terms you're looking for, because, we're definitely looking for, really a tent pole to kind of build around. And, we think things are on the up. An upward path here. I think you'd appreciate being on the coast, traveling back and forth from beautiful Atlanta, was it Hartsfield Airport, and we think there's a lot of possibilities for you here.
Somehow Indiana is a better offer to leave.
Ooh.
But I don't know, Jacqueline.
Washington's jumping in to say that, we can definitely offer Emma the standard max for 1 year. It seems a little bit more interesting playing in her home away from home than going somewhere like Indianapolis or Atlanta, that their future is very up in the air right now.
Everyone says Indianapolis is just like Brussels. So we got max offers to on both sides, right?
Yeah.
And the chance to compete for the title, honestly, is better than
0
Washington.
in all three.
Hey, if Atlanta Deldon plays, it is her home. That's where she's played. At Washington, can you get up to like 210?
Hold on. Just as rules that they can't pay her that. She can't get more than the standard max.
Because she did not play last year, right?
Oh, all right. Let's have the league office explain that really quick. League office, can Emma Meesseman get more than the standard max?
I am like 99% sure she cannot, but that is something that I've been digging through the document like at the moment. I'm going to make a ruling and say that she's at the max because typically the prior team designation to get the supermax revolves around playing at least parts of the last 2 seasons with their prior team, and she did not.
Okay.
Oof. Can New York step in here last minute and inquire about Emma Meesseman?
Sure. You got a max offer?
We do have a max offer and can take multiple routes to clearing space for another max offer if Emma Meesseman is curious on playing with Natasha Howard, Benija Laney, and Sabrina Ionescu.
That sounds like fun, especially in New York. How many years are we talking?
As many years as she wants.
In New York, you should have came out earlier. Yeah, let's do it. We're going to the Big Apple. I'm sorry, Indiana. If that was close, but in New York has a great team, young team. It'd be a fun new adventure. And while we really appreciate everything Washington has done for us, it seems like a time to take a new adventure and play with another great team there in New York. 3-year max. Let's do that. Protected.
I have a couple of transactions
that
I'd like to inquire on. Currently, New York is in talks with Sabrina for a trade for Leona Odom. We are trying to clear space, so we want to know if Sabrina still accepts that trade offer.
Yeah, Phoenix is willing to send this year's second round pick to New York for Leon Odom. It's worked well for us in the past to acquire wings from the New York Liberty in exchange for draft picks, so we are more than happy to do it again.
All right. So New York.
Which pick is that?
That would be the 8th pick in this year's second round.
I love that move. That's awesome. I'm sorry, Indiana. I'm sorry, Washington. Obviously, I cover the Mystics, so I want Emma to come back. But let's move on to some of these restricted free agents. We will start with the big one, A'ja Wilson.
Whatever you want. Whatever you want. If you want the 1 year qualifying offer, we can offer you the Supermax. If you do take the 1 year qualifying offer, the core next year is yours.
Can she get the Supermax?
No,
that's only an extension. Wait, hold on. League office. Could you please explain why she cannot get the Supermax now, but she could have gotten it in the extension, right?
Right, exactly. Yep. So if Las Vegas had extended her prior to year 4 of her rookie scale contract, she could have made that immediately up to the Supermax, but because they did not, they're just letting the contract expire after 4 years. She does not quite get to core eligibility, and then at the same time does not get to Supermax eligibility until she has 5 years of service, which will be after this coming season.
Okay, well, assuming there's not another, no one's going to be able to, they're going to clearly match whatever offer sheet comes out, so no real point in looking. So A'ja Wilson going back on the maximum allowable salary to the Las Vegas Aces. She's happy there, but the future grass will be greener in the future.
Doesn't want to sign with Atlanta for the max. We can sign or do an offer.
Yeah, but then what's the point? Then I'm locked in 2 years, and the point of signing the 1 year is to get her back out into the market next year. And she, as Bill Lambier told me, he's going to core her next year. So there's not
accepting the 1 year.
I'm accepting the 1 year.
Great.
Yeah, one year, and that has nothing to do with the situation in Las Vegas necessarily. It just that's the way the money works out. She's going to make more money over time if she accepts this 1 year contract this year, gets back out into the market to get the max next year, whether that is through a core situation or an unrestricted free agency, which she would like to hit at some point. But again, she's A'ja Wilson. If she wants out next year, she'll get out next year.
That's right. Well, don't forget about us at the time. Love to have you back in the Southeast.
It just occurred to me how close Atlanta was to South Carolina.
Exactly. She could sign a 1 year with us.
That should be pretty cool. Guess should see if how much you could pay Don Staley to come coach.
Atlanta might be close geographically to South Carolina in basketball terms, miles away.
Yeah, the 1 year thing with these restricted players, it just makes sense to do that for the money. But A'ja coming back. Okay, so that is the last player in my personal superstar tier, which I have not shared with anybody. Let's go to
Sue Bird didn't make it.
Huh?
Sue Bird didn't make your superstar tier.
It's different.
Well,
let's wrap it up for her though. I think we should.
Could we actually? I just want to make sure we're 100% on the same page with A'ja. Did she accept the max or the qualifying offer?
The max.
Oh, the max. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Come on, guys. A'ja freaking Wilson. She has a statue. How many players in this league got a statue of themselves?
We should actually probably have a conversation with Sue's agent right now because it kind of informs what we're doing with our restricted free agencies this storm. So, we know if you want to play for the Supermax, totally understand that. We can accommodate it depending on some other moves we make, but would like to know how much kind of flexibility we have if you're interested in taking a pay cut this year to help us retain some of our restricted free agents.
I mean, she doesn't want to take a big pay cut, but something in the Tina Charles range would be amenable. If we want to do the sort of situation that we have that Chicago has with Vandersloot and Quigley, starting there and then moving up or down depending on how much space. Obviously, we have a great relationship, and she wants to come back to Seattle.
Yeah, I think that completely makes sense. We saw last year, kind of waited to make the other moves, then signed Sue last. So we can revisit what the final number is, but we'll pencil you in for 170K so far right now.
Yeah, let's put that at the floor. The floor being 170K. That sounds
Terrific.
Perfectly reasonable to her.
Yeah.
I think at this point we have the team there in Seattle, so that is perfectly fine by Sue to take 1 year starting at 170,000, and then we can work that all out off air. Okay, so Sue Bird is done as well. Now my superstar tier is over. You guys happy? Continuing with the restricted free agents, we would like to talk about Myisha Hines-Allen.
Yes, we would.
Okay,
Atlanta
who's
would.
got? Let's hear offers. I want to hear offers, numbers. Obviously, there's the situation in Washington is that they can match. So you're going to need to hit has to be a league office. Could you clarify as to what the offer sheet has to entail?
Yes. So essentially, when you throw the number out for the offer sheet, you have to be prepared to sign them to that, no matter how the rest of the negotiations go. And then from that point, they will be passed to Washington to either match or let pass by. So.
Okay, and does it need to be a certain amount of years? Does it need to be multiple years?
It needs to be at least 2.
It needs to be at least
Yeah,
two.
at least 2. Yeah, I knew there was something. I just couldn't remember these.
All right, so it needs to be at least a 2-year offer sheet. So Washington, I will hear you out first. What's the number you want to give in terms of years and dollars?
Well, we were thinking anywhere from 2 to 3 years for Myisha Hines-Allen. Also open to anything, any feedback that she has is very important to us. We'd like to start off in the $165,000 to $170,000 range.
Okay, who wants to beat that?
Indiana will beat that.
So will Atlanta.
Okay, so we'll go Indiana first this time. Indiana, tell me what your offer is.
It's 3-year max.
3-year max?
And the reasoning is basically the same as Meesseman. She fits our timeline. She stretches the floor. She'd start at the 4. She'd be alongside Howard and McCown in the front court doing a lot of work to help her out.
What about when Indiana inevitably loses the lottery, as happens every
I was
year?
about to say. She'll play with Melissa Smith.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Indiana, we have a 3-year max offer sheet. So Atlanta, are you going to beat that?
Well, we can't beat
Well, you can't beat it.
right?
Can you match
But
it?
we will definitely match it. Absolutely. We think, you're incredible talent, and we're really looking forward to showcasing what you can do here in Atlanta. I think you'd really enjoy it. And to be a part of what we're building would just be an amazing thing on all sides.
Anybody else want to come in with the 3-year max offer sheet for Myisha Hines-Allen?
New York would also entertain that ability. We will be willing to waive Asia Dur to create space for that last max spot. Add Myisha Hines-Allen with Emma Meesseman, Natasha Howard, and Nigel Laney and the crew.
It's consistently shocking how much cap space New York always has.
Because everyone's so young.
I know. It's just I always forget because they have the full roster. I'm like, But yeah, no, 3-year max offer sheet in New York as well.
Yep.
I was about to say Atlanta sounds good because it's a big market, but you can't get much bigger than New York, and they have a title opportunity.
I mean, your problem in Atlanta is they're playing with lots of established post players already. You are going to start at the 4 in Indiana.
Yeah, but I already have the max offer sheet. So how much do I really care about the next?
But it's not just about the money; it's about the playing time and the playing opportunity on the court.
Yeah, but I understand that. But if I'm on a team that's winning in the playoffs, see Kalia Copper, I'm gonna eventually make more money. And it's like if I go to Indiana and we're terrible, as they have been, no offense, no shade to Indiana, but they've been bad. And I just sit there, I'm not gonna get the other contract afterwards because no one's gonna be really paying attention to how well I'm playing. If I'm doing it in the playoffs, it's more important. Atlanta has I like the Atlanta thing. It's just I don't know where Atlanta is. I'm not sure where this franchise is going. And while I think they're going to be in a more consistent position, a better position, I haven't seen it yet. And I know what's going on in New York. I see New York. I see my friends. Emma Meesseman. Obviously, I'm a Louisville Cardinal, and they love Louisville Cardinals. And I'm signing that offer sheet to go to New York. Now, Washington had how many? Do we know how many days Washington has? Is 3 days?
I think it's 4.
4 days. Well, we're gonna do it right now. So, Washington, are you gonna max that?
Washington will match that offer.
All right, perfect. Sorry, New York.
All right. So that is the 3-year max. Any protections?
Atlanta would have protected it all.
That's a big difference. But yeah, we actually didn't work that out. I'm sorry, we didn't do that. New York, did you want to sign me to a 3 protected offer?
For Myisha Hines-Allen?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, cool. So it's protected.
Okay.
And Washington can do that, correct? They're not running into a
Correct.
protected yes.
For the record, Jacob, it is so great to have you keeping track of all this year. This is a big improvement over year one.
Yeah. We were all trying to do it with all of our teams at the same time. Awesome. Myisha Hines-Allen going back to Washington, 3-year max deal. Sorry again, Indiana.
And Atlanta, come on, man.
Yeah, but Atlanta's gonna. Well, we'll see, right? But Atlanta at least is probably gonna be fine. They can attract other people. Moving on to everyone's favorite YouTube star, Courtney Williams. Atlanta, have you softened your position about her return?
I feel, given the constraints of this podcast, that I cannot soften my position. Although at the same time, I mean, it's kind of a question about how we want to play it here, but I sort of feel the team has said they're not going to, so it's kind of hard to imagine us softening our position. At the same time, I would hope, I'm sure they're re-examining it.
All right. Well, anybody else want to talk to Courtney Williams? She's was good last year.
Yes, she was.
Besides the other stuff, had a nice season.
Chicago would like to talk to her.
Oh, okay.
We'd like to offer you the chance to come in, be a good citizen, play on a winning team, possibly have to come off the bench, but with the chance to earn your way into the starting lineup, certainly in future years if you stick around.
Years and dollars?
We think 120K is fair.
For 1 year?
Given your situation. If you'll take it non-guaranteed, we can do it 2 years.
Okay. Anybody else?
New York would like to inquire on Courtney Williams.
How can you have any cap space left?
Well, they didn't sign Myisha Hines-Allen. It was Matt.
Oh, right, yeah.
So far it looks like we do have cap space without waiving anybody else. So we would like to replicate the Chicago offer.
Okay, well, all things being equal, I'd rather go to the defending champions. So, but if you can go higher, we can have a conversation.
Nope, we will back out if that is the case.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll continue thinking about it. Who else is on? Who else wants to talk to Courtney Williams? Please tell me this is Connecticut.
Connecticut would talk to Courtney Williams if she was interested in anything like $95,000 or.
No. Sorry.
I'm assuming no, considering the other offers that are on the table. Washington would like to talk to Courtney Williams, though. If everyone was offering 120 for Courtney, we'd be willing to, give you a 1-year offer, get your value back up, so you can get back out on the market next year. But we'd be willing to kind of start our conversation at 130.
I'm going to chime in actually and say that, Jacqueline, because right now Washington only has 5 players rostered, in the preseason, we have to place a cap hold equal to the lowest applicable minimum, which is about $60,000 for every player less than 11. So that's six cap holds in this case. And Washington's maximum bid with that in mind is only $114,000.
Are you willing to offer that?
Well, we are willing to offer that, considering the offers. We do have Elena Deladon. We recently signed Myisha Hines-Allen. I think we would have a pretty decent chance to win next year, or at least get back in the playoffs. We're happy to offer that amount to Courtney Williams.
Yeah, I think she's going to Seattle. To Chicago. That seems like a good role for her, especially if Allie Quigley is, if she's breaking down a little bit, she would have a nice role. She'd probably be the backup 2, right? Is that the plan?
Yep.
She's a backup 2 on a championship team, playing with in a place that's that might be good for her and would rehabilitate her value. I think we'll do the 1 year protected though, till she can get back out into the market. She's gonna rehabilitate her value. She's gonna be back, right where she was. So, and she wants that protection. Courtney Williams off the board to Chicago. That's nice. That is a nice deal for Courtney Williams. Good for her. Let's do Elizabeth Williams now. I don't know what I said before, but I want to do Elizabeth Williams. Who's got offers for Elizabeth Williams? Tell me your years and your numbers, and I will inquire about the roles.
Well, we're definitely still in Atlanta here. we're definitely still interested in retaining you. Was sort of thinking a price, on the order of $130,000. Curious to hear kind of what you're looking for.
More than that.
How much more than that?
I mean, she hasn't signed the deal under the new CBA, so she was underpaid greatly in Atlanta. And to go back to a situation where this team is not looking like it's going to be much of a contender next year, that seems a little low. Obviously, if that's the only offer she has, that's fine. But I think Elizabeth Williams could command more because she's a rather good player, I'd say.
You are a great player. We're definitely interested to
Yes.
see what's going on, right? We're not going to walk in way above market, of course, you can imagine. So
I'm starting there, and that's nice.
Yeah.
So who wants to beat that? I feel like someone should be able to beat that. All right. Jacqueline.
Washington would like to ask Atlanta if they have any interest in doing some sort of sign and trade that would involve Elizabeth Williams for Alicia Clark to start. And then I would also like to say that we do have a lottery pick this year. Looks like it'll probably be pick 3. Happy to use that for our trade assets as well.
So I'm sorry, what are you proposing?
Alicia Clark to Atlanta.
I gotta say, realistically, the way things have played out, and we love Alicia Clark, I want to be clear. But the way things are playing out, it seems like we probably need to go younger. So I would probably be more interested in the pick than Alicia Clark, as much as it pains me to say that, because of our respect for her.
Also, this is Alicia Clark's agent who represents a lot of the other players in the league, and she would be very upset if she was traded from Washington before ever playing a game there. And that would
Does Alicia Clark have any interest in being traded to Phoenix?
Sure. This seems to be this would get a little too complicated. So
what about Dallas?
That's less enticing, gotta say.
Jacqueline, if there's anyone on your roster, on the Mercury roster who interests you.
Let's hold on. Can we get more? Is there any more offers for Elizabeth Williams?
Feeling less bad about my 130 now.
Oh, really?
For the record, I will say we're at a little risk of a shortfall, not meeting the team requirements as outlined in the CBA, in which case that would actually bump up the salaries right for the players.
We can help you address that, Aaron.
As I think the Washington would be interesting, but I don't. Yeah, no, I think I'm just gonna go back to Atlanta. Let's make it less complicated.
How long do you want to do that for?
I'd like to come back for 1 year because obviously my player's worth way more money than what she's being offered right now. So she wants a 1 year protected deal at 130.
Yes, I think we've got more than enough room for protected players. So yeah, sure, 1 year protected 130 works for us. Thanks I appreciate your willingness to reach an agreement.
Moving on, I think we have a couple restricted free agents that are very important. Let's go with Mercedes Russell. First off, so Seattle, give me some years and dollars.
Mercedes, at this point, we've signed Tina Charles, as you know, and we don't necessarily want to block you from potentially a bigger opportunity elsewhere. So I think kind of the best play to start out with is for you to just sort of see what the market looks like, and we can go from there.
I appreciate the honesty, Seattle. Okay, moving on. Anybody else want to talk to Mercedes Russell then?
How much money would Mercedes Russell be looking for?
How much money you got?
So right now we do have, let's see, 120K in free cap space that we would be willing to offer Mercedes Russell.
Is this New York or Vegas?
This is New York.
How? Okay.
Atlanta would be willing to offer 130, which I don't believe New York can afford.
Okay, so Atlanta's gonna give me more money. And years, you guys willing to go?
I actually have a question for Atlanta before they make I have a trade offer for them. That would they be interested in Asia Durr and our 5th pick for Kennedy Carter?
That's a good question. Obviously Kennedy Carter, that situation has been very interesting, but I think broadly speaking, the position for our team is that we want to bring her back in the fold and see what we can do next year. This upcoming year, we think that she can still definitely be an asset, and so we're not willing to part ways with Kennedy Carter yet. Thanks for your inquiry, though, Alfred. It's very flattering and reinforces the value that she has around the league.
In that case, we would be willing to waive Asia Durr and bump our offer for Mercedes Russell up to $150,000.
Well, we could do 155, I think, if I'm in Atlanta.
We'll keep talking.
We have a bit of space, as you know. So if I'm doing my math right here on the fly, I don't know. I mean, I think that we think you're a talent, and interested to see what you could do. Would you be looking for a 2-year kind of offer, a 3-year kind of offer?
All right, at 155, starting with the 3-year raises, we could do. I mean, with the 3% raises.
3% raises.
Yeah, we could do that. I think it'd be nice because I'm assuming I'd be starting in the front court most likely.
You'd be getting a lot of minutes.
I'd be getting a lot of minutes, and New York is has a lot more players, although I'm guessing the roles would be about similar. So we're just talking money. I think I want the 3 years, but I do want to give New York a chance to beat Atlanta's offer, which was 155.
I don't think they can, right?
Oh, can they not?
I think I strategically outbid them due to the cap space.
They can, if they go through with the waiving of Asia Durr. If they waive Asia Durr, they would have just shy of 200,000 actually. So
yeah, they wouldn't be able to keep this year's pick. They would have to, or would have to stick with 11, I guess.
Stash it or something. Yeah.
They could keep this year's pick and waive someone else's under contract. They would have to go to 11.
So we actually would be willing to waive Asia Durr, and we will bump up our offer for Mercedes Russell to 170,000 in the first year.
Okay. So three years. Can they do protected? They can. So 3 years. Well, Emma Meesseman's contract is protected. Sorry, that's not on our sheet here, but they are. She is, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's what we agreed to. So they still have that. That doesn't affect the space here. So 3 years protected at starting at 170 for Mercedes. That's the offer right now for New York.
Yep.
Atlanta.
So, we're definitely strongly thinking about that. Try to do our math. I guess one question I have is around: could we speak with Diamond DeShields?
No. I mean, because we're doing Mercedes Russell. You gotta decide.
Sorry, what's the current bid? It's 170.
Starting 170, 3% raises, 3 year protected.
And up to 200, you can go up to 200, Alfred. So then let's say, now that seems a little high. We need to spend money, but not quite there yet.
Mercedes going to New York, starting 170, 3% raises, 3 year protected deal.
I mean, technically,
Seattle not matching.
we literally cannot match.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seattle was gracious enough to allow me to find that offer. Mercedes. Wow.
I mean, I probably could have turned the screws there a little more, right? Because it seemed like Alfred was going up, so maybe I should have been bolder.
Elizabeth Williams' agent needs to call Mercedes Russell's agent.
Yeah, exactly.
She did a great job there.
I just can't go that high, even though I've got way too much money.
Let's move on to Diamond DeShields.
Actually, before we do that, Kevin, we had a discussion. Are you ready to?
Oh, okay. You want to make that trade?
I mean, maybe not when I hear you laughing like that, but
well, no. I just was talking about another trade. momentarily because I thought the Cheyenne Parker deal wasn't going to happen. But yeah, no, we'll do it.
We've been having conversation, right? So that deal is Cheyenne Parker versus is for Isabel Harrison and Charlie Collier.
Yep.
For Dallas, right? Which and I just feel like as Atlanta, we, given how this has played out, like we were hoping to get Tina Charles and all these players. I got to refine my pitch apparently, but and I will say what we've heard is compelling, but like if no one's coming our way, then we probably do, as painful it is, switch to the future. And so as much as we value Cheyenne Parker and I think Charlie Collier, there certainly are some questions, but I think we probably need to go accumulating more future assets at this point, painful as that is.
Yeah, and from Dallas's standpoint, it's very difficult for us to do anything in free agency. So a trade kind of made more sense as an upgrade. And we hope that Cheyenne Parker, after dealing with COVID last year and giving birth, is like the player we saw in Chicago, who was very good.
Yeah, now I will suppose that I've been probably derelict in my duties as GM, and I have not shopped around the league to see Cheyenne Parker's market value. So maybe I should give people 1 second here, but I think it makes sense to go forward with that trade.
What was the offer again? Charlie Collier and who else?
Isabel Harrison.
Oh.
Okay, let's do it.
Cool.
Fortunately, I feel empowered as Atlanta. We're building for the future, so I'm not quite as at risk for this upcoming season and what the implications of that might be, because she's a talent, Parker.
I can't triangulate when she's coming back via Instagram page.
I was gonna say I'm not on the gram, so
I did look up that Kiki Harrigan has given birth, so that was part of my calculations for the Storm. So congrats to her.
So back to Diamond DeShields.
Right, Jacob, you upgraded that just to make sure that I've got my math right for how much money I have.
Yes, I'm currently confirming that everything's showing up properly, and it looks like it's good to go.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we're definitely willing to give DeShields an offer sheet in Atlanta.
For how many years and how many dollars?
Well,
be bold.
I don't want to.
You struck out the rest of the time. Come on.
Yeah, I don't want to. Spoken like a true agent. I don't want to insult you, but at the same time, we've been very excited as we've been watching you over the course of your career, but it has been a struggle for the last couple of years. We think I'll just plug in, let's just say like 100 and maybe 25,000, and for 2 years, sort of a reasonable-ish number, right? We would love to be able to pay you the max, but I as much potential as you have, right? I think you haven't quite been there yet, and so we want to come in at a reasonable number, but we're certainly willing to talk if there's a market that we're totally misreading, because we're not trying to insult you.
Talking to Norcross High School legend Diamond DeShields coming back home, and it's that. I mean, someone's got to be able to beat that offer. Wait, does Chicago have any cap space? Can Chicago chime in? What are you?
Chicago cannot afford to match that. If she wants to come back for a qualifying offer, she's welcome to it. Other than that, there's not a lot we can do.
Okay. Anybody else? So it's starting at 125, and how many years?
I was thinking 2 years, because like we respect you. We would love to be able to then sign you to a much more significant contract. So we're not trying to lock you in for too long at what will hopefully we want to make sure you're not under market. We think you should be paid appropriately for your performance, and so we'd love to see you shine for these next 2 years and then be able to earn even more. But if you wanted 3 at a in line with this initial offer, we could certainly discuss that.
Okay, so is no one going to beat this offer? Is the question? No. Okay, wow. Thought Diamond would have had a little bit more interest. I think she'd rather do 1 year protected to just get back out on the market, because she's gonna have a big role here in Atlanta, bigger than she's had in Chicago. Obviously, she loves Chicago, but she has.
Offer sheets have to be a minimum of 2 years.
Oh, right. Okay, so
yeah, that's why I said 2.
My bad. I totally forgot that we had that conversation. Well, can Chicago rescind their? Can they make me an unrestricted free agent so I can go and sign a 1 year deal? I don't know if that's legal office.
It's not gonna matter, right? Because if no one's gonna pay you 125 restricted. All right, unless you're saying unrestricted, then we pay you 125.
I'm assuming you guys would be cool with me signing a 1 year deal as opposed to a 2 year deal.
Okay. Ooh, creative. That must be possible, right? Jacob, what do you think as the official league office?
So that's one of the areas that I always struggle to decipher, because once the offer is out, and it's a little bit nebulous for our purposes because we're not dealing in days and weeks the way that the CBA would be written. I believe there is a mechanism to pull back the restricted offer, but typically it's beyond when most free agency is happening, from my understanding.
Would Atlanta like to incentivize us to release her? Turn this into a sign and trade?
Well, if you can't sign her for 125, then I'm not feeling much need.
No, but if we're trading her immediately, then we can. That's perfectly legal. I mean, how about straight up for your second round pick?
Why wouldn't we just, I'm sorry, I'm misunderstanding. Why wouldn't we just wait and sign her to the 125 when you can't match it?
No, I mean,
Because-
yeah, I don't have another choice here. I don't really have much leverage.
Because she says she wants 1 year. So if that's what she wants, and the only way to give her that is to deal with us, then you would have to deal with us.
It's true, but
Yes.
they wouldn't have to
But
do that because I
think
have no
that,
leverage.
I understand, I think that given the reality of the situation and the various leverage points everybody has, I think we'll stick with the 2 year.
All right. Sorry for getting cute. 2 years to Atlanta, starting at 125?
125 with the raise, and
Yeah, 3%
we're
raise.
feeling generous, so we'll protect that.
Yeah. No. We need that protection. Okay. Cool. Thought there'd be more of a market for Diamond DeShields. Next players on my list are, Kia Nurse, but that's a different situation. Andrew McCautry, Brian January, Jordan Canada, Courtney Williams, Leisha Clarendon, Bridget Carlton. Like there's a bunch of players here that we could do, but I don't know if we just want to go to teams that haven't done anything. Shouts to the Sparks, and see if they need to do anything, because we want to hear from our esteemed GMs. Actually, both the Sparks and the Mercury have
Well, I mean, I think I had the lowest combined total of cap space of
you
anyone
did.
on this.
Yeah, stuff.
Combined, yeah.
Do you want
I
to
think
handle
collectively my teams might have had less cap space than like Alfred's dealing with New York, like 3 times.
Is there anything you want to try?
Yeah.
Well, we can also, if there's anyone that has a player that really they think needs to go in front of any of this, but I think LA, you can call out a player and we can get that moving.
Yeah, so LA, we kind of committed to a 2-year rebuild timeline last offseason, and that is hamstringing a lot of what we are capable of doing during this free agency. However, we did find a player that suited our system quite well last year, and so we would like to engage with Nia Coffey and see what she is looking for in free agency.
Well,
Should I make my pitch?
Well, yeah. What's the number you're going to give me? Because then we can get into if we want to beat that. She obviously wants something above the minimum, and she would like to be back in LA. She played really well there, as you mentioned last year. She likes the system. Yeah. So what's the offer? What's on the table?
Great. So we think that the way we play is brought out the best in Nia, like far beyond what she did in her first 4 seasons. Her brother is here in LA. We think it's a good fit for her. We are willing to go 130 for the next 2 years for Nia Coffey.
And we cannot do protected there.
Correct. We cannot protect that.
Yeah, that's fine. So does anyone want to beat that offer?
Indiana here once again.
Cool.
We would go. How about we match it, but we protect it?
Does more.
We think we offer you a much better place than Indiana because, like we said, this is where we've unleashed our defensive potential. Like we're going to probably be starting for us based on other moves we plan to make for the rest of free agency. And we think that, with Jasmine Walker coming back, Gabby Williams coming into the fold, we're going to have a really nice athletic wingy set of players. That's going to be a lot of fun to play with.
That means less playing time for me.
That's what
no. We can play all wings all the time. That's the plan.
You got Zowie B, Tua Agumakays, Gabby Williams, Jasmine Walker.
The bigs are all coming off the roster very shortly. We don't even know how much Nia Agumakays is going to be playing. It is very clear how much of a favorite you are of Derek Fisher, who I am actually. Should I say that? You are my favorite. I think we've shown you how much we value what you were able to contribute in LA, and we are building something that we want you to be part of.
Okay, so why don't you give me more money then? Can we
the
do
thing
that?
Is we can go up to 135, I believe, based on something else that could happen.
Okay. Indiana, can you Can you beat that?
Indiana would continue to match that and protect it for 2 years.
Yeah, I'm going to Indiana. I'm sorry, LA.
Seriously?
You guys are both in the lottery, and they have their draft pick. What
But
do you want me to tell you?
What has Indiana shown like
They
available
have
to,
playing
you know?
time.
Yeah, I don't think you've been on 4 different coaching staffs in your first 4 years and nothing happened.
What's a fifth?
I know, but nothing close to what happened this year for you in Los Angeles. I think this is
Then
the
they should
best
pay me more
possible
money.
scenario. They don't have any money.
Well, then that's their problem. That's not my problem. And
I think you're
it's the same- it's
misevaluating
the
what
same-
Nia Coffey is looking for here.
But it's the
think you're
same money
misevaluating.
to go play more minutes on a team that's younger. Because it was great to play. I really appreciate what LA did to me, but I need the guarantee money. There's just too many. I haven't gotten one of these contracts yet, so Nia needs that guarantee. In 2 years in
She's
Indiana.
very close with her family, and her brother plays with Clippers.
Hey, he may get traded to the Pacers. You don't know that.
He's on a 2-way. He is not getting traded.
Next year. Hey, it could always happen. That's why she's there multiple years. She's going to Indiana. That's
What's the final verdict on so obviously protected 2 years? What's the number, and is there a raise?
I'd like to, it's protected and a 3% raise. Indiana, you cool with that?
Yeah, that works for us.
Starting at 145.
Starting on 130, correct?
Or
135. You said
135.
135, okay.
damn, almost snuck that in. Sorry, LA. And congrats to Indiana for signing someone. A lot went down in part 2 of the WNBA mock off season. Emma Meesseman is heading to the Big Apple. Sue Bird is coming back to Seattle, and Diamond DeShields has a new home in Atlanta. Part 3 will be coming out Wednesday, December 15th. And please subscribe to our newsletter, our podcast, and our YouTube channel. And make sure to follow us across social media at Her Hoop Stats for all of that. We'll see you in part 3.